Hey, this is Anthony Gibbs, and this is sponsored by nobody. Nor do I care if it's demonetized or not because I don't have no money. I'm not begging anybody for any money for anything. I basically wanted to say there's a lot of backlash and a lot of consternation about how certain people of the wealthy class are treating others, and I would dare say that is valid. And it seems that the more and more nakedly these people are pretty brazenly now just kind of taking and give themselves tax breaks. And these tax breaks, as we know, it, come at the expense of people who are poor, who are indigent. I just saw in my own community recently that they closed up this little clinic that was in town here. So people have to go all the way town now to go to the doctor when they didn't have to before. And I believe it's Medicaid cuts that kind of led to this. So basically, I've come up with a solution. It's not anything like new or exciting, or that's not necessarily even that in um, you, you know that deep. Basically, it's to stop giving billionaires your money. Just stop as much as you can. You limit it. I know that it's hard, especially with telecommunications and things like that, but limit it. Limit it. You know, um, and I'm doing this with food. I'm not getting any more food from like Meyer or Walmart or or for that matter, even something like Kroger. I am limiting my food shopping to small businesses and the Amish and people like that because I'm tired of giving money to people that want to hurt me and stand against this basic values I have as a person and citizen. So stop giving them money. When you give a big box store money, it's like a double screw because they're not paying the folks that work there a whole lot, so they're not putting money like back in the community the way they could. And a lot of them get like these big fat tax breaks. So they're not putting money back in. All they're doing is just extracting towards them. And so I'm done. No more. As much as I can, I'm not. And you should too. The only way I think these folks are gonna respect and listen is if you cut them the fuck off and you're done. And I found that the food I've gotten has been fresher. I've gotten better meat from the butcher than I would from the grocery store. When I go to the butcher, he's like, "Hey, like, what do you need? I'll get that for you." He's like, "Hey, if you want a meat package, just come talk to me." When I come to see the butcher, he gives me hi and goodbye, like I mean something to him. When I go into the fruit stand, when I go over to like a local little shop where they have all the flowers and all the fresh produce, they remember who I am. When I go to the Amish store, they remember who I am. And I like that shit. I like giving folks money who actually care about me, about my business. Yeah, I'm not just another motherfucker coming in just to give them money, like, and they don't care about me. So I found that in these big stores, like the fast food, it's gone up in price and it's gone down in service. That's not coincidental. These folks figure that they can do it what they want because we're meaningless to them. Once we give them money, we can go fuck off, just flat out. And a small business, they can't do that. They need you to come back in there. So I would say go with that. I would say run with that. And I would say send a message to the billionaire class that we're done. I'm not going to Disneyland. I'm not getting cable. I'm anything I don't have to do with them, I'm not doing with them. I'm going to do as little as I can with them. All right. Peace. Thank you. And have a great night.